We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.
We start with football stories. Today, the home-based Super Eagles will do battle with Algeria in an international friendly on Friday, September 23. Now, the friendly is built for the Stade Mohammed in Constantine. Algeria will host the next African Nations Championship early next year. The North Africans will also take on Sudan in another friendly on Friday, the 29th of September.
And the French Ligue 2 club, Sochaux, has confirmed Valentine Ozornwafor's invitation for Nigeria's upcoming international friendly against the Desert Foxes of Algeria. The centre-back has made one appearance for the Super Eagles, and the Super Eagles will be without two of their regular centre-backs, Femi and Kenneth Omero for the game. Meanwhile, the Algerian Football Federation has invited French-born Lyon midfielder Hossam Oral ahead of their friendly game against Super Eagles of Nigeria later this month.
Well, good story coming out.
Yeah, very good story. And it's that the former Nigerian international Emmanuel Amuneke has been appointed as the head coach of Zambia Premier League side Zanaco FC, and this according to the Lusaka Times. The former Barcelona winger is expected to travel to Zambia from his base in Spain to take over as a new head coach of the 7 times Super League champions. Details of the contract are sketchy, but the former Tanzania senior national team head coach will be on his way to Lusaka in the next few days to resume duty.
Still on Nigerian football stories, international Mikel Agu has sealed a free transfer to Japanese top division side Shonan Bellmare in a 2-year deal. Also, Super Eagles midfielder Ghana Carrier's move to Greek Super League side Aris has reached a final stage and could be completed electronically within the next 24 hours as the transfer window closes on September 15, according to a Greek news platform.
Still talking transfer stories now from the home front. The transfer season of the Nigeria Professional Football League NPFL will close on the 30th of September 2022 ahead of the new season, which will kick off at a date to be announced. This is contained in a strange circular signed by Davidson Owumi, who identified himself as the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Professional Football League as against the illegal league management company LMC. It will be recalled that the federal government through the sports ministry declared the LMC, who are the operators of the Nigeria Professional Football League, illegal, while the LMC has insisted that the body is legal and situated both in football laws and regulations. However, Owumi, in the circular dated September 14th, urged the clubs to finish their dealings before the deadline, as extension of the transfer season is not guaranteed. The circular did not, however, reveal the kickoff date for the league, but urged the clubs to complete the necessary club licensing ahead of the new season.
The Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, has said 2 of Nigeria's biggest athletes, Tobi Amusan and Brume, signpost the future of the country's athletes. He stated this during the unveiling of the athletes as brand ambassadors. Dare, during his speech, also called on corporate organizations and individuals not to wait until the athletes are crowned champions before associating with them, but they should invest with them when they are young.
International Table Tennis Federation African Senior Championship in Algeria. Nigeria's tennis star Okodri is set to defend the title in Tunisia next year. The news came into public glare after the Table Tennis Annual General Meeting (AGM) at the completion of the African Senior Championship in Algeria last weekend. It was at the AGM the body announced the hosts for the 2023 Africa Cup and Championship.
Meanwhile, Serena Williams might be taking a page from Tom Brady's book. Williams said last month that she was evolving away from competitive tennis after the US Open, once again hinted at a possible comeback during an interview yesterday with Good Morning America. And this time, the 23-time Grand Slam champion referenced another all-time legend. She said, "I mean, you never know," when she was asked whether she could be persuaded to return to tennis. And she said, "I've just been saying that I think Tom Brady started a really cool trend." Brady, who's 45 years old, retired from football this past February before announcing 6 weeks later that he had changed his mind and would return for a 23rd season in the NFL.
The Phoenix Suns owner Robert Sarver has been suspended for a year and fined $10 million after an NBA investigation into claims of racism and misogyny. The NBA found Sava engaged in conduct that clearly violated common workplace standards. It found evidence of racially insensitive language, unequal treatment of female employees, and sex-related statements and conduct. Sava's treatment of employees also on occasion constituted bullying. However, while the NBA fined Sava the maximum amount possible under its rules, the report stated it makes no finding that Sava's conduct was motivated by racial or gender-based animus.
Well, from football stories, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp is unimpressed by new Chelsea owner Todd Bowley's idea of a US-style all-star game in the Premier League. Bowley, part owner of baseball team the LA Dodgers and basketball sides the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Sparks, suggested a North versus South game. He said he hopes the Premier League takes a little bit of a lesson from American sports. Klopp in response says, does he want to bring the Harlem Globetrotters as well?
And speaking of football stories, an elder brother of Paul Pogba has been taken into police custody in connection with organised armed extortion against the Juventus midfielder. Matthias Pogba presented himself to the investigators in the early afternoon and was taken into custody, according to sources. Sources also added that 3 other people are in custody, and temporary detention in France usually ends after 24 hours. The Paris prosecutor's office opened an investigation last month into attempted organized extortion, which has been handled by the anti-corruption police.
Running off on the news hound, London Marathon organisers have added a non-binary gender option to applicants for the famous race. The 3 gender options, male, female and non-binary, will be offered to members of the public applying for the mass participation events. Elite athletes races, which operate under World Athletic rules, will feature male and female categories only. London Marathon events said it is a significant step in making the event truly inclusive. All right, quick round off on the news hound, Segun, so we can just quickly call our guest for this morning.
Right, last story, rubbish. Rubbish.
Human rights.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
Human rights.
Man or woman, any other thing, your sexuality tag, rubbish. Nonsense, that's all I have to say about rubbish and more rubbish. Love Jurgen Klopp to bits, respect to everything he says.
Do you realize that Superman now has a boyfriend?
Rubbish.
Yeah, you've not heard, Femi?
No.
And I cannot say...
Obina, you've not heard? Superman has a boyfriend. Yeah, has a boyfriend.
Henry
Yes. Rubbish, more rubbish. Absolute nonsense. Todd Bowley should stop smoking stuff, illegal stuff. We appreciate American and foreign owners in the Premier League.
No, it kind of sounds like a good idea.
Nah,
kind of sounds like a good idea.
Then, do you know that in all American sports, none of the sports are drawn games?
Yeah,
they win in every sport.
Yeah,
baseball, basketball, football. They don't do draws.
Isn't that good?
Nah, you play what you play. Don't give the end of the game an artificial result. That's like in the Premier League now. You say once a game is drawn and you have penalty shootouts or penalty kickoffs or whatever.
But that's not the idea of the All-Star game anyway.
No, I know. The All-Star game will probably be Manchester City, Liverpool. Basically,
no. I think it says three players from each team.
Well, basically, it's not what I mean. They're northern teams. That's what I mean. It will be against, and the southern teams are basically against the London clubs.
No,
wait,
so you're going to select.
I'm talking about geography. Is he not talking about geography?
North versus south.
North versus south. That's geography, So the northern teams basically are City, United, Liverpool, Everton. I think Newcastle,
Wolves.
Yeah. The southern teams are Southampton,
Chelsea,
all the
Arsenal,
London clubs.
Yes.
Yeah, Brighton,
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, all the London clubs. Yeah.
That's a lot now. So 3 from each team.
Yeah, I mean the continue, but I don't buy it myself. I
think it's a good idea actually. I don't mind it, and it will happen. It's just one game at the end of the season. the best players from each team. I mean, I don't think it's such a bad idea.
Football.
It's just one game. It's one game.
The fact that there's nothing to play for in that game doesn't make
it's just bragging rights. It's just excitement. It's just excitement. It doesn't take away anything from the champion.
Charles.
I don't think
it takes nothing away.
See the words.
No, Segun, come on, let's move.
I just want him to say.
He doesn't agree with me. But it takes nothing away from the champion of the Premier League. It's just an additional game in which star players, like an all-star game, like they have in the NBA. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Look, there are 4 competitions already. There's the League Cup.
It's a one-day game for me. It's one day.
Femi's not interested.
There's no look. There are too many. I love what Club said. Club said, look, there's a lot of football games for us to play. There's no winter break for us. Other teams have winter breaks. They can rest. We are not resting.
Well, the Premier League is looking at a winter break.
But this year,
after this season, because of the World Cup, we're going to have a winter break this season.
Everybody else is getting a winter break this season. The Premier League still puts game for the Boxing Day fixture, for New Year Day fixture. It's how many days after the World Cup? Let people rest is a lie. So Klopp is saying there are too many games.
So Femi, you disagree with Charles?
I don't think the tournament should. I don't think the idea.
It's not a tournament. It's a one-off game.
I don't think the one-off game should go on.
So you disagree with what he's saying?
I disagree with Tobi. It's Tobi that said it now. Just like Klopp. I disagree with Tobi.
Femi.
I learned from Nigerian politicians.
Femi. Okay, Serena Williams talking about what's his name now? The footballer.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Yeah, I mean, but the funny thing is that Tom Brady himself, who retired and then unretired himself, now I watched an interview where he now said, well, he hasn't celebrated any birthdays between August and January. He's not done Thanksgiving, he's not done Christmas and all that. So it's like he's mumbling, he's thinking of.
He's in trouble.
And then his wife.
He's in trouble.
You saw the statement his wife released.
For me, Serena should have just talked to Venus Williams as the example. The fact that she mentioned Tom Brady is in trouble. Don't even mention the brother is in trouble. Just leave him.
His wife has said, I've given all the time, I've sacrificed everything for you. Now it's my time. And when you have a lovely wife like that, who now says, almost my time.
How do you know she's lovely?
She's lovely.
She's lovely.
She's lovely.
Physically.
She's lovely.
Physically.
She's lovely.
You don't live with them now.
She's lovely.
Anything you say.
She's lovely. So, Femi, do you disagree with Charles again?
God bless you.
We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.